Hey true believers, how's it going? Did you know that everyone's favorite wall crawler got put into a coma pretty recently? Crazy, right? Let's get into it. You see, in Spider-Man Beyond issue number 1, or Amazing Spider-Man issue number 75, Peter Parker's brother, the hoodied web-slinger known as Ben Reilly, came back to New York as the Beyond Corporation's official Spider-Man. The two butted heads for just a moment, mostly due to bad writing, but in the end, they still came together to fight the dastardly UFOs together when the villains came down on Empire State University. Peter seemingly gets to the villains first, snapping off a quip that they say wasn't funny the first time. To which Peter says, "First time?" And it's suddenly revealed that the piece of debris he was perching on was hiding his dear clone brother, who informs Peter that these guys do not think they're funny. Oh, and he got here first because he has a team letting him know where crime is happening in the city. No more listening in on police radios, huh? Both Spideys join up, but Peter scatters when the Rhino wannabe, Ironclad, makes a swipe at them, turning around to see Ben was able to take the full force of the superpowered punch. Pete is pretty impressed, asking how the hell Ben managed that. Turns out his suit has kinetic-sensitive foam that locks on impact, letting the blonde webhead take a lot more punishment than he used to. And Peter seems kinda jealous. But together, the two spider bros are knocking around the UFOs like ragdolls, until they send down a radioactive gas cloud on the two heroes that explodes on top of them like a nuke. Thankfully, Ben's Beyond brand costume has air filtering and radiation dampening, which leaves him completely unharmed. Peter isn't so lucky though. He's just got his regular old red and blues, so all that radiation goes right into his lungs. Pete falls to the ground, losing his lunch all over the New York pavement as the UFOs make a mad dash to escape. Ben chooses tending to his brother over chasing the villains, but Peter's not looking too good. He's talking nonsense, saying the danger's inside. And just like that, he's out. We cut to Aunt May picking up her home phone, the voice on the other end saying, this is Peter. I'm hurt, okay? Come quick." Before hanging up on her. And as May puts down the phone, she knows. That wasn't Peter. And as we see in the next panel, it wasn't. It was our titular blonde wall crawler on the other end of the line, now sitting in the hospital and freaking out. And because this is written by Zeb Wells, Ben acts like a moron who nearly gives away his hero identity when asked how Peter got this way. But don't look now, here comes MJ to her man's rescue, demanding to see Peter Parker and stating that she just spoke to him. The doctor's confused, saying he's in no shape to be calling anyone, that maybe she talked to his brother? And her response is to be expected, I guess. Nice revisionist history, Marvel. But hey, we gotta remember, this is the Everybody Hates Ben Reilly show with Zeb Wells and Nick Lowe in charge. Back in the hospital room, Pete's not doing well. He's convulsing. None of his vitals make any sense. And then we get Peter's own perspective. His spider sense is going haywire, screaming at him that he's in danger, that he has to move. But the danger is inside his body. Something inside is trying to kill him. Back at Beyond, this definitely not super shady corporation is not happy that Ben ran off in the middle of a mission to, save someone's life as a hero does. Marcus, Spidey's new guy in the chair, lets our hero know that they've relocated the UFOs, and he needs to get right back out there to stop them. But Ben wants to get right back to the hospital. His brother could be dying right now for all he knows, and he blames himself. But Marcus tells him that letting the UFOs escape is not an option, but he will schedule an extra therapy session before Ben heads back out. As soon as the tech leaves, the webhead completely loses his composure, sinking into a chair and telling Janine everything. Meanwhile, Aunt May's made it to the hospital and is steaming that the doctors apparently can't figure out what the hell is wrong with Peter. But at least he's conscious. Peter and MJ make up some lie about why Peter was in the thick of a supervillain attack, and Aunt May puts on her game face to start pestering the hospital workers into giving Peter the best care they can. And I'm really sorry I'm flip-flopping scenes so much like this, but back at Beyond Corp, Ben's getting suited up and decked out to fight the UFOs. The information Beyond has gathered on their powers giving Spidey an edge he doesn't usually have in his fights. But Riley's heart just isn't in it. He can't stop thinking about Peter. He tries to express this to Marcus, but the tech isn't having it. As far as he and Beyond are concerned, there is no other Spider-Man. But Ben says this isn't right. He just needs an hour. And despite Marcus shouting after him, Ben leaps off the rooftop and starts swinging his way to his brother. And once again, back at the hospital, a doctor is informing Pete and MJ that Peter being conscious is a very good sign, and that his organs are doing the best they can, for now, but they won't know more until tests come in. The doctor jokes that Peter must be half ox, which is close as Peter puts it. Ben makes a quiet entrance, which somehow sets off a bloodlust reaction in MJ, furiously demanding to know what Ben did to him, which is as far as you can get from Mary Jane's actual relationship with Ben Reilly. But again, this is a Zeb Wells and Nick Lowe comic, so every character is contractually obligated to hate Ben Reilly. Ben tries to explain, but really, he just wants to know how Peter is. And thankfully, Peter is conscious enough to talk to his brother this time. They have a heart-to-heart. And Ben apologizes for butting heads with Peter earlier in the comic. It wasn't right to show up and take the Spider-Man title without even asking the original. Ben wants to be Spider-Man. Even more so now that Pete's out of commission. But he's not going to do it if Peter doesn't want him to. And Peter, in a shining moment of okay character writing in this god-awful mess of a story, tells Ben that he deserves to be who he is. And he deserves to be Spider-Man. And one last thing, Peter Parker tells Ben Reilly to be amazing. Ben leaves, a newfound sense of hope and optimism finally shining a light on his life. For the first time in a long time, MJ says she'd be mad at Peter for, not being an asshole to his brother for no reason like she was, if he wasn't the sweetest man alive. But Peter isn't responding, and before everything goes to hell, he tells MJ that he can't feel his body. And in the last few pages, we get juxtaposed panels of Ben Reilly walking out into the sunshine, putting on his costume, ready to shoulder the burden of the mantle he's been passed, and Peter Parker's body shutting down, and finally, slipping into a coma. And that's as far as we're getting in this issue, true believers. If you want to find out what happens next, go pick up Spider-Man Beyond on Comixology or your local comic book shop. Or don't. I really can't recommend any of Spidey's newest comics in good faith since, they're terrible. But if you'd like a good recent Spider-Man comic that actually gives a rat's ass about its cast of characters, please go check out and support JMD's Ben Reilly, The Humanity Agenda. It's only 5 issues, and it's some of the best Spider-Man content we've gotten in over a decade. It takes place in the height of the 90s Clone Saga, with Peter and MJ living in Portland and expecting little baby Mayday any day now, and Ben Reilly in the webs as the sensational Spider-Man. The mystery this comic presents is stellar, and while I won't spoil anything right now, you're not going to expect who the main villain of this little outing is. It's so good, trust me. Anyway, that's all for this time. I hope you enjoyed, and please go subscribe to Chimera Films. I did a little voice acting for their Avengers video, and I'd super duper appreciate you showing them some support, alright? With that being said, stay cool, get some sleep, and remember to ring that bell before you go. This is the Synth Voice Network signing off for the night.